Hi, and welcome to this week's UMIP Community Review Call. This week we have one UMIP to review, which is updating the optimistic asserter, I think. Let me just check. Updating the optimistic asserter. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Cool. So this is an update to the optimistic asserter contract that was approved last week. I know you've both taken a look and reviewed it. The only comment that's live on it, I think, is the one which adds the discourse link.
Yep.
Does one of you want to talk through a little bit about what this UMIP does?
Yeah, I think this one is fairly straightforward. It's just adding a little bit more information to a contract that we've already approved and deployed. So it's going to add a small bit of information to an event. So they've redeployed the optimistic asserter contract on a bunch of chains. And this UMIP is just going to update the registry and the finder to point to those new contract addresses. So technically, it seems pretty straightforward, both in terms of the changes to the contract and the updates that we need to do to implement that. There's also nothing that is using the optimistic asserter live in production yet. So there isn't a lot of stuff that we would need to coordinate with other teams around this yet.
Super. Anything to add, Alex?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, John pretty much touched on it. Very straightforward change, just redeploying the contracts. So yeah, nothing really to add.
I did notice when I looked at the contract, are these are kind of temporary things here?
Oh, that is a really good point. We should get them to update those deployment addresses. Those are definitely placeholders.
Those are placeholders. Yeah, that's a good point.
I did think it was a bit strange that it was such a neat address.
Yeah, if we manage to land that vanity address. It's like a statistically impossible thing, but I also don't think you can't use all those letters anyway, so it's statistically impossible. We're way deep in the alphabet.
Excellent. So in terms of going forward, I know that they want this going forward for a vote quickly. It's a goal with conditions to add in the discourse address and update the placeholders.
Yeah, update the placeholders and we'll make sure that the deployments that are there look good.
Cool.
And I think that also they linked to a pull request, and let me pull that up because maybe that pull request actually has the correct addresses. Let's see. And this would be a pull request on the UMA protocol repo, I think. Pulling this in. Yeah. I'm just taking a look. It's pull request 4413 on the protocol repo. And no, okay, so this isn't for like the deployments. This is just the update to the contracts. Okay, so yeah, just go with contingencies. They should actually deploy and update the addresses, and then the changes that are going to get made to the registry and finder should reflect those actual deployed addresses.
Right. So the contingencies are update the addresses, and you mentioned something else there that I didn't quite catch.
Oh yeah, they have to actually deploy the optimistic asserter to these different networks, and then update the addresses to the actual addresses that they've been deployed to. and we can do a review to make sure that it all looks good and the contracts are verified and everything.
And that review should happen before this UMIP passes or goes forward to vote.
Yeah, make sure that like everything looks good before we propose it. Because the proposal is going to point to these addresses, so we want to make sure that those addresses are correct.
Excellent. That's the only UMIP that we had. There is actually another pull request in the repository, but to the best of my knowledge, it's still in draft.
Okay.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Rory.
Bye.
See you.